to the House.
I thank the member for Jagga Jagga. The question is that the amendment moved by the honourable member for Mayo be disagreed to, and I call the member for Fisher.
I thank the Deputy Speaker. And they say that Christmas is the time for giving, and clearly this time in this parliament is a time for the ALP to give back to their union paymasters. Now, we know that the ALP are constantly receiving financial assistance from the unions, and now the unions are saying, righto, it's time to give us something back. And this bill will fundamentally change the way industrial relations is dealt with in this country, and it will wind back the clock for the construction industry. Now, I'm looking across the aisle there, and can any one of those members opposite raise their hand and say, I have worked, not just turned up on a building site with a hard hat and a bit of high-vis, worked on building sites? Great. Mining doesn't count. Mining doesn't count. So you will see, and you should come over this side, because you will know the absolute bullying and intimidation that the CFMEU do, that they perpetrate on every building site. So if you guys are serious, those of you who say that you've worked in the building industry, come over here, because this is the side of politics that supports the building industry, as opposed to the CFMEU. You guys talk the big talk about looking after and having respectful workplaces.
Order. I would remind the honourable member to refer to
I will refer through
government
the chair.
members respectively.
I will refer through the chair, Mr Deputy Speaker. Those opposite should know. Those opposite should know about the bullying and intimidation that the CFMEU perpetrate on every building site all the time. You know, they talk, they're embarrassing, they're unbelievable. Those members opposite, I'll take the interjection, because they have absolutely no idea about the bullying and intimidation, because if they were serious, they would know about what happens, and yet they want to abolish the ABCC. Well, there are builders and subcontractors around this country that may not be members of the CFMEU, but they are good, hard-working mum and dad businesses who all they want to do is go to work, feed their families, put their kids through school, and what we see through the bullying tactics of the CFMEU is things like third-line forcing, where if you don't sign up to an CFMEU EBA, you'll be black banned, not just from this site, but you'll be black banned. And the member for Eden Monaro is shaking her head as if to say this doesn't happen. Well, if the member for Eden Monaro seriously thinks that this doesn't happen, she's living in La La Land, because this happens around Australia all the time, where businesses, small businesses, are put out of business because the CFMEU drive them out of business. And if you've never seen that, member for Eden Monaro, you've not been involved in the building industry. So we've seen that this bill, which will remove and abolish the tough cop on the beat. This will remove an environment where, let me run through some stats. So the CFMEU, I beg your pardon, the Australian Building and Construction Commission was reintroduced in 2016. We went to a double dissolution election over it. Since that time, after the Labor Party abolished it when in the Gillard-Rudd era, the average rate of industrial days lost per 1,000 employees, it dropped by 90% since we introduced the ABC, reintroduced the ABCC. Let me read it again. Since the ABCC relaunched, the average rate of industrial days lost per 1,000 employees dropped by 90%. As of September 2022, the ABCC had imposed nearly $18.6 million in penalties and secured almost $13.6 million in payments for contractors since its inception. Now, those members opposite talk the big talk about justice and looking after people in the workplace. What they don't talk about is what the federal court has consistently said about the CFMEU, is it is the biggest recidivist organisation in this country, who continuously breaks laws, cops fines, but considers those fines as the cost of doing business. Now, some of those members opposite, we've heard, rather than speeches about this bill, it's more like, pre-selection speeches to their own base. But let me keep going. As of 19 September 2022, the ABCC had achieved a successful outcome in 105 of its 114 cases. Successful outcomes in 105 of 114 cases. That's a rate of 92%. 92%. Now, the member for Moreton is interjecting. I reckon if the member for Moreton had a 92% success rate when he was a solicitor, that'd be pretty good figures. As we speak, there are around 30 CFMEU representatives currently before the courts. Now, if those members opposite want to go on the record and support the CFMEU if they want to go on the record and support them when the federal court has found that they are the biggest recidivist organisation in breaking industrial laws in this country, then go for your lives. Now, 30 CFMEU representatives currently before the courts, with the CFMEU accounting for around 1,663 contraventions since the reintroduction of the ABCC. Now, these are unlawful activities. These are unlawful activities on projects like schools and hospitals and roads and bridges. Now, Ernst & Young have recently done a study to identify what the costs of abolishing the ABCC. Do you know what the costs are? Do you know what those costs are? The estimated costs are around $47 billion.
Order. The member is entitled to be heard in silence.
That is exactly right, member for Moreton. And yet, because of this conduct that will go unchecked when the ABCC is abolished, every single taxpayer in this country is going to be paying more money for more construction. Now, the members opposite in the government, the Labor government, who want to see the abolition of the ABCC, you can talk the big talk, but just wait. Just wait and see. The proof will be in the pudding. The amount of disputation that will rise as a result of this bill. There is too much noise on my right. The disputation will absolutely increase, and then we'll say secure jobs, better pay. We'll see how secure the jobs are with better pay when the industrial disputes significantly increase. But of course, your assistant treasurer is on the record for saying, well, look, we accept that industrial disputes are going to increase as a result of this bill. I don't see any reference in the name of this bill to increased industrial disputes, but that is exactly what will happen.
Member for McEwen.
Those members opposite did not run during the campaign any reference to patent bargaining whatsoever. There was no reference to patent bargaining. If you don't understand what that is, look it up, member for Mitchell. So you did not go to the electorate with this policy. So you did not have a mandate to introduce patent bargaining, but that is exactly That is exactly what you are trying to do through this bill. And shame on the government for gagging this debate and reducing the opportunity for members to speak on this bill.